Welcome back to another Spirit Island video. In this video, we're going to be continuing my competitive PvP series. This time, looking at Red Team. Now, a short recap of what just happened. Bringer played Transformative Sacrifice on Wandering Voice. Wandering Voice destroyed 3 presents and gained 3 cards. Now, I made a slight error. Wandering Voice wanted me to destroy H6 instead of H4, so I quickly changed that presence placement. In addition, Enticing Splendor is going to gather the Explorer from H7 into H4. Now, after these players have done all of their fasts, they then got to take a look at the upcoming possible events here. I've shown this in the last video. They then chose one of these events. They then chose the next Explorer for Team Blue. And Team Blue did the same thing for Team Red. Okay, so now let's go and execute our slows. So looking at Wandering Voice is going to use Thriving Choke Fungus, adding that Badlands and Disease over here to E4. And it's actually going to get some value this game just because that Disease will come up and will stop a future build at some point in E4. So quite nice for them. They got Animated Rackroot, adding that Wilds over here on H4. Very strong. Having a Wilds means you're going to be able to deny those Russia Explorers. And finally, they're going to use Twist Perceptions to add a Strife over here onto E6. Twist Perceptions allows you to push that Invader. And then, because of Wandering Voice's special rule, they get to push it again. So this card allows you to double push things or push cities. Wandering Voices then can use that right innate, getting 3 fear because they have 3 moon. They then are going to do 1 damage per sun. So 1 damage over here, 1 fear. They're then going to push that Explorer into the ocean. 1 fear. And then this Explorer is going to wash ashore on E2. And the reason why that Explorer normally would be getting killed, but because of that Russia 2 rule, the Explorer is going to live. We now have Bringer taking Tidal Boon, getting 2 energy. And Bringer is going to push this town into the ocean, generating 1 fear. Ocean is then going to use this Deeps innate, adding a Deeps token over here onto E2. And finally, Bringer is going to use Predatory Nightmares, 2 fear, just doing damage to this town and pushing that town over here into that D1. And that is it for the slow powers. Wandering Voice is going to G2 top. They're going to put presence in H7 as well as E7. And they're going to be playing Frightful Keening as well as Exhale and Confusion. And they're going to get a moon. Ocean is decided to G2 bottom. And they're going to grow into both of the oceans. I don't know how I feel about this. A lot of times with oceans, they do G2 followed by G3, followed by G1, G3, G1, G3, back and forth. And you get this thematic presence moving into the onto the island and then off into the ocean. By doing something like this, next turn they're going to reclaim, and all of their presence is going to be stuck in the ocean. So it makes those 0-cost cards like Swallow very awkward. So it'll be very interesting to see how this plays out. They're going to be playing Grasping Tide as well as Swallow. And Bringer is decided to do G3 here. They're going to gain a power card, and they're also going to place a presence. They've chosen to place that presence over here into D5. And the cards that they got to choose from, Quicken, Absorb Corruption, also Favors, and the last one is Reaching Grasp. And the Bringer got to pick between one of these 4 cards. These are all interesting. They got 2 defense with Favor as well as Quicken. Reaching Grasp does combo quite nicely with Ocean. And then Absorb Corruption is pretty awkward. They ended up going with Quicken, and this is probably the card I would take as well. I really want to do Reaching Grasp, but Bringer is just never going to have more than 3 plays. And even getting the 3 plays is kind of a nightmare. No pun intended. So I think taking Quicken is is a solid pickup. So they decided to go with Quicken, and they're going to be playing Dread Apparitions as well as Dreams of the Dahan. They've chosen to use Dreams of the Dahan to gather 2 Dahan into this D1. Protecting the Dahan and just pairing everything up makes a lot of sense. They then chose to use Dread Apparitions, getting 1 Fear, as well as putting the effect over here on D1 and giving them Defend 1. And what's really cool about this is whatever fear is generated in that land, you get more Defend. Well, now we get to combo it with Grasping Tide, giving us an extra 2 Fear, increasing the Defend to 3, and then giving another Defend 4. I think this is a really cool combo, something that I actually haven't seen before. So I'm comboing another card like Grasping Tide with Dread Apparitions. Now with Bringer, I've done this combo to combo Dread Apparitions with Call on Midnight Stream. I've done that before, but I've never comboed it with Grasping Tide. So really cool. Unfortunately, 7 defense is not enough to defend this land. So they've also chosen to use the Enticing Innate to decrease the invader damage, but it also decreases the Dahan counterattack. So it's going to be a little bit difficult to get to be able to kill these invaders over here. Okay, so we've executed. Oh, and lastly, we have Bringer's Left Innate. They're going to flip up this top fear card, and that is Dahan Threaten. That is great for them to be able to plan around this Dahan Strife. We then have Wandering Voice. They're going to choose to use Exhale and Confusion to fear, and they're going to make the Strifed Invader over here not participate in the Ravage. They then are going to push the Incarna. They've chosen to push the Incarna over here into H4, adding a Strife, and then moving that Explorer over here to D7. Kind of creating that little bit of an inland pocket here. Okay, now that is it for Fast Phase. Now, Team Blue was not kind to Team Red, and they chose to give them Frontier Calls. And this is a deadly card against Russia, and it's going to increase the number of explorers added to the board. It also is going to add some beasts. Let's add the beasts here. They've chosen to add beasts into lands H7. I believe, let me double check again. Make sure I have it. So they chose D7. And the last one is E5. So those are our beasts. They then get to gather Dahan, which is kind of nice. They'll be able to gather Dahan out of this land, saving the Dahan from being massacred. And same thing again over here. They can save these Dahan, and they've chosen to gather them over here into D5. So quite nice. They lucked out a little bit with those Dahan. This card being able to save those Dahan from death. Now the fear card they got was Dahan Defend. So it kind of sucks because they over defended here, moved Dahan out of here, and now those lands aren't defended. So pretty rough, I guess. So let's do the Wetland Ravage here. So that blights, goodbye beasts. This as well blights, and the Striped Invader does not participate because of Exhale and Confusion. We then have a Ravage here, killing the city, damaging this Explorer. It gets drowned into the ocean, and then it washes ashore over here. We've executed all of our Wetland Ravages. Sands will build, because there's 2 adjacent buildings. Build over here, and build over here. That's our building on the sands, and the Explorer is actually, they told me, is mountains. I believe this is mountains here. Mountains is what they've chosen with Frontier Calls, adding double Explorers. The lands without buildings, and they kind of predicted all of this, Team Red, just because mountains was an available option with the Frontier Calls. So they saw this coming because it was maximum value. Now, luckily, they got some value out of that Wilds placement there. So, yeah, I mean, this looks pretty scary for Team Red here. I mean, they have multiple Sands lands, Basically, all 6 sands lands are ravaging. An extra land is ravaging here on D8. This just looks bad news. But I don't know. Maybe I figured they're gonna have some combo and they'll be able to pull through. So let's see. Now the next step here is just like last video. I'm gonna draw those events. There we go. And this is right on my recording, so they haven't even seen what these events are. Either have I, we have Urban, Dahan Trades, Strange Tales, Fortune Seekers, Temporary Truce, Diaspora, Therial Conjunction, AD, Far Off, and Putting Down Roots. So these are the upcoming events. They will also then pick the upcoming Explore. And these are going to be the events that they can get, Team Red can get, as well as what they'll be picking for Team Blue. And the last thing that I'll leave you guys with is the event that they chose, the event that Team Blue chose for Team Red, this Frontier Calls and this Mountain Explorer. This was done not right now. It was done actually in advance. Like they had planned this in the slow of last turn. So something to think about. All right. If you guys like this video, like, subscribe for more content. I'll see you guys in the next video.